Hello guys and welcome to this video. Now I've got a gorgeous new mod for you. This is the GMT Master 2023 with the black and grey two-tone bezel. I built this actually a little while back and it's currently for sale, in fact, on my website. That's svkwatches.ae. Links will be in the description. And I've got to say sorry for not releasing many videos at all in the last couple of months. Super busy here. We're coming up to summer as well, so I'll be taking a little break from modding whilst I go traveling for the summer. As you know, in Dubai it gets super hot, so it's time to leave. But I've got a couple watches here to show you, which you might not have seen before if you just follow me on YouTube. Please follow me at Seiko Mods Dubai on Instagram, because I will be quite active on there throughout the next few weeks and months. And of course, you can reach out to me for any custom orders, custom ideas, and of course any questions you may have. Now, I did mean to release this one a little bit earlier. It has actually been built for some time, so I thought you guys have got to see it on YouTube, so here it is. This is based off of a Seiko SSK001 GMT model, as you'll see on the right. So what I've done here is basically I bought the original watch, and in fact right now I'm gonna have some videos rolling on the left so you can see parts of the build process. So basically take the original watch, remove the dial, and in fact it's only the dial and movement that remain. Everything else in this build is aftermarket parts. It's important for me to keep an original Seiko dial where possible. That's part of my whole sort of style, is I try and make OEM plus watches, so keeping original Seiko parts but elevating everything else. So we've got that black dial, it's got the red GMT text, of course it's a date only dial. We've got some lovely gold PVD Mercedes hands with the GMT pointer as well. I'm going to show you the operation in a minute. Around the dial we've got, and I'll see if I can zoom in on this a little bit for you, an engraved 24-hour chapter ring. Now this is a lovely part from Watch and Style, and it enables you to actually potentially track 3 time zones on this watch if you wanted to. We've also got, of course, the GMT bezel. Okay, in some light, in some angles, you'll notice it looks almost fully black, but it is a distinct grey on the bottom half. Again, similar to probably the hottest Rolex release of this year. That's what I wanted to go for here, of course, matching that lovely new, I don't even know what it's called, similar to the root beer, of course, but not, instead we've got grey instead of brown essentially. And then the two-tone version is my personal favorite as well. So we've got a ceramic insert, 24 hours, of course, sapphire double dome crystal. Okay, I really generally don't recommend putting the Cyclops. Even Seiko themselves on the original SSK do put a Cyclops, however it doesn't actually magnify anything. It's just there for aesthetics. I don't particularly like the Cyclops, and I much prefer the look and feel of the double dome sapphire, which is why I've used it here. We've got a gold S-signed crown. I haven't mentioned the case yet. In fact, this is a 40mm sub-style case, also from Watch and Style. You'll have some parts links in the description. You can get most of these parts from Namoki as well. In fact, all of the parts, I believe, from Namoki. Apart from the bezel insert, you're going to have to go to Mod Mode Watches for that. But as I said, yes, the case is 40mm across, and you can see the bezel is actually slightly wider than the case. So I would call this a 41mm watch, and that would be more true to its size. Bezel action is nice and tight. I've kept it as the unidirectional bezel with the clicks, of course. I just love the feel of it, and I think even though it's a GMT bezel, it still makes sense to have the clicks and the slight element of security with it only turning one way. In case you do set a time zone, you're less likely to knock it, and so on. Gold PVD S-sign crown, as I said. We've got a solid two-tone Jubilee bracelet. I'll show you that off the stand in a minute. And before we do that, let's have a look at the operation. So in case you've not seen one of these in action before, this is a screw down crown, I should have said as well. So we can wind it in the first position. In the fully out position, we can set the time. Okay, so the main operation is exactly as your standard watch: hours, minutes, and the second stops while you're setting the time. So let's say it's 9 o'clock, and you know that in the country you want to keep track of as well. Let's say it's 4 in the morning right now. So what we can do is go to the first position. Okay, so the seconds hand is still spinning. We've got two options here. The moving clockwise jumps that GMT hand, and we mentioned 4 in the morning, so I'm just going to put it to 4. And the opposite direction actually changes the date, so we can set it to, let's say, the 12th. Okay, now as we set the time now, you'll notice that, for example, when the local time is 12, it's actually 7 in the other country you're tracking, and so on. So the arrow will go round once every 24 hours. That's why we use a 24-hour bezel, whereas the local time is as standard, goes round twice per day. So you get midday and then midnight. So this is what they call a caller GMT. So the intention here is the way it kind of works and is set. It's a little tricky to set as you are traveling. If you're crossing multiple time zones, let's say you're a pilot or something like that, the actual Rolex GMT allows you to set the local hour hand in increments like that, rather than the GMT hand. That would be usually set to your home time. Regardless, given the price and the function, I really don't see an issue with that. I love Seiko for bringing out the SSK GMT, and I love the fact that we've got a proper 24-hour bezel now. And a little fact for you, in case you were wondering, you might remember I set it to 4 o'clock in the morning. On the 24-hour time, you'll notice that all of these bezels, when they're two colors, usually that sort of segregates nighttime and daytime. So the top is usually black or a darker color than the bottom. So that sort of helps visually remind you, if you're tracking GMT time, that anything up here is probably night and anything down here is day. Of course, there's the reason it turns is that you can also actually set 2 time zones and use that center ring as well as the outside. I honestly don't think anyone would do that, but it is an option still. And of course you can put it in whichever position you like, nice and firm, lovely bezel action on this. So there you have it, guys. That is the function of the GMT. So given its price, the standard Seiko watch is somewhere between $350, sort of, sometimes you can get them for a bit less, or $400, let's say. The modified version is almost double that, but of course you're getting sapphire, ceramic. You're getting a crown at 3 actually as well, which is quite different. You're getting a solid bracelet and a sapphire case back. Okay, so this one's actually got an NH36 movement, NH34 movement, the GMT movement, but it can be done also with the 4R34. It's exactly the same, just not Seiko branded. So there you go, guys. What do you think of this? I love it. Here's a snapshot with it next to the original Rolex that it was inspired by. My favorite release probably. I was super happy to see this bezel appear, and that's why I built this one. Now, for a bit of bonus content, I did recently build another option. I was lucky enough to find one of these dials, one of these base watches actually, at a reasonable price. So I grabbed it and built one of my favorite mods with this model. This is the Datejust, what I call the royal blue Arabic Datejust. This is the SRP H50. So these newer Seiko 5 Arabic dials are becoming more and more popular. The green dial, which I've shown on this channel a few times, is fully sold out. There's no chance of getting that anywhere, and I certainly won't be able to make any watches with that dial until at least September. But I do have just one piece of this blue dial Datejust available. This is also on my store, SPK Watches, so please have a look. If you're interested in unusual Seiko, especially Arabic dials or rarer models, which have been sort of tastefully modified, in this case fluted bezel, two-tone jubilee and a domed sapphire crystal. That's all it takes to make this watch super unique. You won't find one of these on anyone else's wrists in the room, so that's another reason why I love doing what I do, making unique watches at an affordable price, but most importantly original parts with high quality options as well. Thanks guys for watching. Keep an eye on my channel. I might not post as many videos over this coming months, but I will be catching up with you on Instagram at Seiko Mods Dubai. Have a great day and I'll see you soon. Which one would you pick?